What an interesting card. What a night of fights. What a morning of fights. Very underwhelming to present the news that Aspinall was demolished in his eyeballs. Not just one, but as you see in this corner right here, both eyeballs. And I don't think that is a fake reaction. And I just think anybody that is shaming Tom Aspinall being poked in the eye does not know fighting. And that is okay. It's the game that, we watch. It's the fight fans. Well, I think there's a general consensus that Ciryl Gane, a double eye poke is insane. And it was a nasty one. And you could tell immediately, I think after that first minute of the timeout being called, you were kind of like, Aspinall might not be continuing, which sucks, but fully understand. It is what it is. I just watched Dana's press conference, and he's like, automatic rematch is probably likely, but we're just talking about right after the fights, right? So, just unfortunate times. It really is. There's no other way to put it. I did think Ciryl looked good. He was landing some good jabs, but that's what he was landing, was good jabs. Aspinall was downloading the information, and the fight was going on how it was. Unfortunate, right? What do we do next, right? But let's talk about some of the other fights. It's just Virna Jandiroba, Mackenzie Dern. Mackenzie Dern, I thought it was just a back and forth fight. It was kind of the fight that I expected. Two chicks just thugging it out for the belt, and Mackenzie Dern just put it on Virna, quite honestly. Just a lot more pace, and I think she landed the more significant strikes. And any of these scorecards, 48-47, 49-46, that seems about right. I wasn't scoring it too closely, but I by the end of the fight, I had it going Dern's way. Now this was a fight that I watched very closely. Umar Nurmagomedov, Mario Bautista. I thought Mario impressed a lot of people in this fight, and I thought he looked great in this fight. I think it would have been very interesting to have seen this fight as a 5-rounder compared to a 3. Umar's gas tank is a big question for him going forward, and I think this is something that needs to be talked about, is Umar's gas tank. And granted, he didn't fade in this fight, but his body language, and he just looks gassed in some of these bouts, man. And Merab is a different beast. You can't compare Umar Nurmagomedov and Merab to Umar and Mario Bautista. Mario and Merab are on two different levels, right? Mario is not a Merab. That said, the knee that Mario landed on Umar, and I thought Mario's scrambles, he had some very impressive scrambles in this fight. Umar's pace and his striking output was just a bit too much for Mario, and just the takedowns. 11 out of 14. The control time. Insane performance by Umar. But, see what's next for him. If it's a title fight, I think you can probably give him just the name Umar Nurmagomedov, given the history with Merab already. If Merab goes out there and beats Peter, it's probably Umar versus Merab for the title again. That said, I would like to see Umar against another top contender. But I just don't know if he needs to fight another number 1 guy, but it would be nice to see that. AlexanderVolkov, Jailton Almeida. Very critical of this fight. I thought Jailton Almeida, he just did nothing. And I think Dana coming out in the press conference and pretty much confirming, you can't win a fight doing nothing. You did everything right except fight. You landed the significant strikes for Volkov. Volkov lands the significant strikes. He wins the fight. If Jailton Almeida just did anything, he would have won the fight. It just got to a point where you're watching the fight and you're honestly confused watching Jailton. The entries and the takedowns that he got on AlexanderVolkov, you're just like, do something. If you do anything, I'll give you this round. Just do something. Land or throw something. You have almost 11 minutes of control time, and you threw 30 strikes total. AlexanderVolkov absolutely deserved a 29-28 in this fight. I didn't see it any other way. I had it 29-28 AlexanderVolkov. I was just so amazed at Jailton Almeida's performance in this fight to where I was honestly confused. I mean, you're watching him, the entries and the takedowns that he got, and there's no explanation for why he wasn't throwing. It's just an all-time bad performance. He really just threw the fight away. I have nothing good to say about Jailton Almeida's performance. Azamat Murzakanov just put out Rakic, made quick work of him. We didn't get to see much of this fight, quite honestly. But I'll say for Azamat, I mean, he looked great. I think you got to do Carlos Ulberg versus Poatan and Azamat Murzakanov versus Jiří Procházka. Make that fight co-main, featured bout to Pereira Ulberg. Let's get light heavyweight moving a little bit, but I think Azamat definitely deserves a contender in this division. And, you know, with Roundtree and Hill being out, I think that's a fight you could easily make, is Azamat and Jiří. I would love to see that fight. One of the nastiest knockouts of the year, Jaykelp. Just absolutely putting Nasrat out. Glad to see that Nasrat is up and moving and doing well, though. But, I mean, that was just a nasty KO. One of the nastiest head kicks you'll ever see. Really, I mean, just Nasrat out cold. But a very good win over a Nasrat who was on a good win streak. And, I mean, he throws a sniper for a left hand. He's a good fighter. Just, you know, see what's next for him. I think lightweight just always has a bunch of killers in it. And, I mean, just nothing. That's what we got, is just another killer at lightweight. So, I mean, we got Perth in February. See if he wants to get on the Perth card maybe. Rep Australia. Ikram Aliskerov did what he needed to do against Jung Young Park. I thought his striking looked really good, and his takedowns, I think that was the difference maker in this fight. We haven't really seen the takedowns out of Aliskerov before, but I think Ikram really looked good in this fight. His striking looked good, and his control and his takedowns. He just really put it all together in this fight against Park, and I'm excited to see what he can do at middleweight. The Whitaker fight, I don't think, was the best Ikram we ever saw. So I think it'll be very interesting to see the best version of him. I think he took the Whitaker fight on short notice, if I'm not wrong. Got his lights put out by Whitaker, but he's a good UFC prospect at middleweight, and I really want to see him against some of the top middleweights. I think you give him a top 15 guy, and, you know, let's see him against some of these ranked guys at middleweight. Dana's fight of the night here, Ludwig Klein. The fact that he was able to survive the third round with that broken ankle he had, very impressive and good for him, honestly. Mateusz Rebecki, just an insane back and forth fight. Wasn't my fight of the night, but it was a great performance, great fight. Thought Klein getting the fight. I don't mind him getting the decision, but just sucks that he had to break the ankle in the third round, man. It was the fact that Klein was able to survive third round with a broken ankle. Insane performance by him. And just insane will and dog by him, honestly, to just wear through that for 5 minutes. Or however long it was in that third round, but great fight out of him. Vulture Walker, 4 heel hooks in a row at heavyweight. Interesting. I think that he's going to be fighting another heavyweight next that we're going to talk about. But great performance by him. It was what we expected. Gets another heel hook. And good for him. My fight of the night right here, though. Jose Delgado, Nathaniel Wood. Nathaniel Wood was out in round 1, and I thought Delgado was just a couple strikes away from putting him out. But Nathaniel Wood, his ability to come back in the next 2 rounds and beat Delgado, and I'll say, I gave the fight to Delgado on my scorecard, 29-28, but I'm not too mad at Nathaniel Wood winning this fight just because the will and determination he had just to battle back and win this bout, insane workout of him, and very impressive back and forth fight. I really thought this was fight of the night. Just had a bit of everything in this fight, but the striking masterclass that both of them put on each other, it was just back and forth for 3 rounds straight, and it was a great fight as an MMA fan. This is the kind of fight we needed this on the pay-per-view, quite honestly. And then going into a fight that I'm going to be very critical of, Abdul-Wahab, I thought he could have put Chris Barnett out, as most people did. But I think what was just not impressive about this fight is you look at the numbers and you just see how overwhelming Hamdi was. And when I was talking about Walter Walker, apparently Walter and Hamdi want to fight each other, maybe in Qatar. If we see that fight, cool. But I think my thing with this fight is you should have put Chris Barnett out. This should not have went 3 rounds. And we saw Hamdi in some very powerful and some overwhelming positions on Chris Barnett, to where you're just 1 or 2 heavy blows from just putting Chris out. And I think watching this was just like going back to Jailton Almeida, given 2 different spectrums of performances. But the same case is, if you just do more, you'll have a better result. And the better result for Hamdi here would have been getting a finish. And I think a finish against Chris Barnett puts you on a bigger map than a 3-round decision that's everybody's like, man, you just could have did more. We're just left with, did we see the best Hamdi Abdul-Wahab? Did we see the best version of him? I don't think we did. Mitch Raposo getting his first UFC win. Big underdog. Gets on the mic after and calls out the odds makers. Good for him, man. Seeing him in the win column, I know he's had a rough going, but Mitch Raposo, good for him getting a UFC win. And Mizuki getting a win. Huge underdog. Good for her. But I think at the end of the day, we're just going to be left with Tom Aspinall, Ciryl Gane. And we're like, it's just so unfortunate, quite honestly. And I'm excited to see what's next. Assuming a rematch. But going next, I mean, we have UFC 322. This is going to be the main page. This is going to be what we see. All that said, though, UFC 322 coming up. I am very, very excited for this card coming up. I think this is going to probably be the best card of the year. Let's take a quick look at it. Jack Della Maddalena, just an insane fight. Super fight, quite honestly. But this could go either way. I'm excited to see the odds on this one. Getting a quick little Burger King ad. I don't need that. JDM Islam. I like JDM at plus 230, quite honestly. I'm excited to see how big this next version of Islam is, but I really think that we can see JDM do something against Islam. JDM is just tough everywhere, and I think we're going to see the best version of him. Super fight at flyweight, Shevchenko versus Weili. Probably one of the better women's fights that we could put on if it's not involving Amanda Nunes or, assuming her and Kayla Harrison fight. But excited to see them go back and forth. Sean Brady, Michael Morales. Respect to Sean Brady for taking this fight. Michael Morales is a young killer. 18-0, 18-1 for Sean Brady. But, we got movement at welterweight here. Whoever has the best performance between Leon, Prates, Morales, and Brady, we're going to see some movement at welterweight. But Prates a big favorite over Leon Edwards. That's interesting. Excited to see all these fights, though, as well. But Neil Dariush, Benoit Saint Denis. Another almost like 50-50 fight. Which version of Dariush and which version of BSD do we get? We'll see. And then the prelims, honestly, Kopylov, Robocop, Susurkayev, Mikagnio. We've got some good prospects and some killers on here. Adolfo Vieira, one of the best BJJ guys. Bo Nickel. I'm not going to say this is a layup for Bo Nickel, but this is definitely a fight that is going to be winnable for him. Aaron Blanchfield, Tracy Cortez got some movement at flyweight again. I wonder where Tracy's ranked at women's flyweight now. I know Blanchfield, she was up there in the rankings, but this should be a high-ranking flyweight fight. Kyle Dawkins, Meerschaert, filler fight for a pay-per-view, quite honestly. Angela Hill getting a fight on a pay-per-view. And then Malcolm Wellmaker. Glad to see he's got an opponent. Hopefully this fight stays. I know he's having a tough time getting opponents. But, I mean, I know he's one of the best prospects at bantamweight right now. At 31 years of age, though, he's one of the best. And I understand why you don't want to fight an unranked killer like Wellmaker. But hopefully that fight stays and he can stay on the card. I want to say this is the Nasrat knockout right here. I mean, this was one of the nastiest knockouts of the year that you'll see. Just absolute insane KO. I mean, just out cold, man. But all that said, it was a good night of fights. Just an anticlimactic card. And the reaction's going to be the same everywhere. It's just like, what do you do? I mean, we're going to see Tom come out and talk about, you know, his side of it. And I think we'll have a better understanding of everything once a picture of the eye gets released, and whatever it takes, you know, not just get the fans off of his back, but just, you know, hopefully get some closure and a rematch booked. I just know this is a frustrating thing, and what do you do? But it's my reaction. UFC 322 next. That'll be a good pay-per-view card. Got a couple weeks until then, though. Excited to cover that card, though, as well, and, you know, cover anything that's going on in this heavyweight division now that we've got some uncertainty. But catch you on the next one. Let me know thoughts, comments, and the thoughts, opinions, anything in the comments. I'm excited to see y'all in the next one, and peace.